Hi, good morning, students. Welcome to the English grammar class for class 8 students. We have completed 5 chapters. Today we will be studying about common errors in tenses, chapter 7. Okay, chapter 6 we need to study only in the second semester. This chapter is very important because you will have so many marks question from this chapter. You you have experienced in the previous exams that a sentence is given and you will be asked to change the tense of the sentence. Okay, and after completing this chapter we will be moving to the next chapter, that is chapter 27. Okay, it is comprehension. And I will be also giving you the chapters which will be coming in the first semester examination. It will be the end of the session. You can note it down. Okay, let us start with the tense and let us move to the common errors in the tense. See, in English grammar, verbs are often used in a way that it indicates or denotes the time when an event occurred. These verbs that take up different forms to indicate time of an action, event or condition by changing its form are called tenses. Tenses can be broadly classified into three broad categories. That is present tense, past tense and future tense. With each of these tenses, there are four aspects associated with it. An aspect here refers to the nature of action performed by the verb. These four aspects are simple or a indefinite one, or a continuous. Second one is continuous, and the third one is perfect, and the last one is perfect continuous. In this way, we get total possibilities of total tenses, means 3 into 4. Let us understand more about each of these group of tenses. First one is the present tenses. As we know, it is action that is happening right now. We use present tense for action that is happening right now. And the past is an action that already took place, and the future is an action that is going to happen. This is what is the purpose of these three tenses. Now one by one in detail we will see all the 12 tenses. Before that, I hope you remember these persons: first person, second person, third person, singular and plural. Okay, you can see on the screen right side. Okay, just revise it once again. Okay, we have revised it so many times. Even then it is very important when you study the tense. Okay, in the screen or in the table you can see the three tenses: present tense, past tense and future tense, and all the four subdivisions under each headings you can see. Since you know the tenses in detail, okay, I am not explaining in detail, but we will have just a revision. Okay, the usage of each tenses one by one. Okay, let us start with the simple present tense. Under the heading present tense, the first one is a simple present tense. Okay, this tense is used to refer or indicate to something that occurs in the present. The simple present, or it is also called as a indefinite present, it is used to describe an action, event or a condition that is occurring in the present while being spoken about or written. Okay, example: the dog barks. The dog barks. Okay, it is a simple present tense. And the second one is a present continuous tense. This tense is used, or it indicates the continuous nature of an act or event in the present and has not been completed. Activity has begun in the past and will be completed in the future. Example: she is preparing tea. Okay, the action is going on. The action started in the very near past and it is continuing now. She is preparing tea. And the third one is a present perfect tense. This tense is used to describe an action that had begun in the past, continues into the present, and has just been completed. The action is over. Okay. The time of occurrence of the action is generally not mentioned in this tense. This tense is also used to describe an action happened in the past before another action took place. For example, I have just completed my dinner. The action is over. I have just completed my dinner. And the last one is present perfect continuous tense. This tense is used to describe an action, event, or occurrence that has begun in the past and continues into the present. It is also used for an action that began and just finished in the past, or in case where there is no mention of time. They have been trying to contact her. Okay, the action started in the nearby past and now also it is continuing in the present. Okay, they have been trying to contact her, the example. Let us move to the second tense, past tense. Okay, simple past. This tense is used for referring to something that happened in the past. Example, we stayed in a hotel. Simple past it is. And the second one is past continuous. As we know, it is just the action is just continuing in the past. This type of past tense is used to describe an event or occurrence that is going on or continuing in the past. For example, we were playing tennis at the club. Third one, past perfect tense. This type of tense is used to describe an action or an event in the past that has been completed. We had completed our maths before she had come. The action started in the past and completed in the past. Okay, we had completed our maths before she had come. And the last one is the past perfect continuous. This type of past tense verb is used to indicate an event, action, or a occurrence that started before another event, action, or a occurrence in the past. We can say that one action or event interrupted another. See the example. I had been playing the drums since school time. I had been playing the drums since school time. That means he started playing in the past and it continued to a certain time of past. Okay, but now it is not continuing. That is what is the past perfect continuous. And the third one is future tense. Simple future tense, as we know, it is used for the future events. Okay, you see the example, we shall be there by noon. Okay, we shall be there by noon. I will eat a mango. Okay, the future action. To mention the future action, we use the simple future tense. And the future continuous tense is used to describe actions that are going or continuing in the future. It is commonly used in a sentence by using the simple future tense of the verb with the present participle, that is ing. Okay, his parents will be attending the meeting. His parents will be attending the meeting. Okay, and the third one is future perfect tense. Okay, it is used to refer or describe an event that will be completed sometime in the future before another action takes place. Again, example, I will have completed 10 years of work in August this year. The action will be completed in the nearby future only. Future perfect tense. And the last one is a future perfect continuous tense. This tense is used to describe an action that is continuing into the future and will be completed at a specified time in the future. Example, I shall have been living in Mumbai for 5 years by May 2021. Okay. Now we have seen the usage of these 12 tenses. Okay. Now you can see how the format. Okay, in simple present tense how it will be used. Verb plus the if it is a third person singular, we have to add s. Okay, you can see the chart and understand the formation of these different tenses. Okay, to understand this properly, first of all you must understand the three persons: first person, second person, third person. With the third person in the simple present tense, we will have to add s with the verb, s or es. Like that, you may just go through the table given here and understand it in a proper way, which we have been revising in the previous years. Again explaining it will be boring for you. So just revise by yourself. Okay, the chart given below explains the different forms of the verb play in all the 12 forms. Here you can note that the verb play is given, and we have used it in all the 12 forms of the tense. Starting with the simple present tense till the future perfect continuous. Okay, the problem you face here is it is used only with the first person singular. Okay, to understand the tense in a better and suitable way, we will have to use it with all the three persons, both singular and plural, in all the tenses. Then only you will be able to understand the differences. Okay, here the first one is I play tennis. When it is coming to the passive voice, you can say tennis is played by me. And the second one, continuous tense, present continuous, I am playing tennis. And passive voice, tennis is being played by me. In all the continuous form in the passive voice, you can see being, B-E-I-N-G will be there. Okay. And the third one is a perfect present perfect tense. I have played tennis. Passive voice, tennis has been played by me. And in the perfect continuous, I have been playing tennis. And there is no passive voice for the present perfect continuous. Okay, you may just go through this chart in the proper way, and I will give the explanation in the next slide. Also you can note here that see that all the perfect continuous tenses plus future continuous tense, they are not having the passive form. Okay, all the present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, future perfect continuous plus continuous future continuous is not having the passive voice. Okay, it is a important note. Okay, don't be confused with. Okay, here you can see the tenses I have given in another format. The simple present tense and the present continuous tenses I have given here using the verb write. This is what you will be facing there in the examination. One sentence like I write a letter will be given for you, and you will be asked to change the tenses into another. So you will have to understand the three persons and the changes that happens with the different persons along with the changes of the verb. So I advise you to write these tenses in the copy. The same format you may follow, and only two I have given in the chart, and another 10. Okay, starting with the simple present tense till the future perfect continuous tense, you may write there in the copy, which will help you to revise in the coming days. Now we are to the main topic of the chapter, common errors in tenses, or common errors in the use of verbs. Usually when we use the different verbs, we may make so many mistakes. Such kind of mistakes are getting corrected here. You can see one by one, around 11 points are given here. The first one is a verb should agree with its subject, not with its complement. As example is given, what you say is correct. What you say is correct. Usually we use along with the subject you, are we are using, the auxiliary verb are we are using here, but our concern is not about you. What you say is our concern. That is what is the subject. So the verb should be is. Okay, what you say is correct. Okay, we should not use what you say are. Okay, that is wrong. That is what it is said here. I hope you understood the difference. The subject here is not you, but what you are speaking. That is what is the subject, the topic. That is what is the subject. So is to be used. Second one, a verb should agree with the subject proper, not with its enlargement. Example is given, the legs of the table are weak, and in bracket it is given not is. Okay, here we are speaking about the legs of the table, not about the table we are speaking, but about the legs of the table we are speaking. So legs, it is a plural subject, legs. Table is singular, but we are speaking about legs, which is a plural. So plural verb we have to use. That is why we have used here are. Okay, what is given in red, you can see the legs of the table are weak. In the same way, the girl with blue ribbons is my sister. Okay, ribbons, you may feel that it is a plural, and it is plural also, but the subject is not the ribbons. We are speaking about the girl. Okay, she is having 2-3 ribbons on her hair, but that is not our concern. We are just speaking about the girl with it is just an identification with blue ribbons. Means the girl with blue ribbons is my sister. Okay, just in front of the verb is, auxiliary verb is, you may be seeing a plural noun, ribbons. So don't be confused. Our subject is the girl. The girl is our subject. We are speaking about the girl, which is a singular. So we have to use the singular verb here. The girl with the blue ribbons is my sister. The third one verb can serve two subjects if the subjects are of the same nature and need the same tense. Okay, two subjects, okay, same verb. That is what is happening here. Example, you can see her teeth are white and clothes tidy. Teeth, that is plural, and clothes, that is also plural. We are speaking about the teeth and clothes, so we need to use only one verb. Her teeth are white and clothes are tidy. That is what we mean. Okay, but we need not to again use the verb there. Her teeth are white and clothes tidy. Next example, your hair is black and complexion fair. See, we are speaking about hair and complexion. Both are singular, so we use one verb is, singular verb is. Your hair is black and complexion fair. But you see the next one, his hair is black but eyes blue. In the bracket it is given incorrect, wrong. Why it is wrong? His hair is used as singular, so we can use clearly the verb is. But eyes, that is plural. One subject is singular and the another is plural, so we cannot use a is. Okay, we have to use separately. The reason is that hair takes a singular verb but eyes need a plural verb, so separately we have to use the auxiliary verbs for. And the next one, the same subject needs two different helping verbs when it states an action into two different periods of time. I have never hurt anybody and never will. I have never hurt anybody and never will. Okay, though the subject is I, okay, the action is mentioned in two periods. I have never, whatever happens, and in the other side what we are speaking about is in the future. Okay, so different verbs we need, have and will. No wise person can or will do such a misdeed. Okay, in the same way, okay, no wise person can or will do such a misdeed. And the next point is never confuse the verbs like and verbs lie and lay. Lie has its form lie, lay and lane. And the second one lay has its form lay, laid. Take special care while using the verb lay. Lay the book on the table means put the book or place the book on the table. The traveler lay under the tree, rested. Okay, this past tense. The traveler lay under the tree. Okay. The next point F. A participle must stand in agreement to some noun or pronoun. See the example. Being a hot day, I kept indoors. Okay, in the rule it is said that the participle must stand in agreement to some noun or pronoun. So we have to use it, the pronoun it. It being a hot day, I kept indoors. That is what is the correct form. Without the pronoun, if you are using, that is incorrect. Next one, note the use of the verb after as if or as though. In the present tense, as if is always followed by where, whatever the subject. See the example, then you will understand. He talks as if he were mad. He talks as if he were mad. Actually, he is not mad, but he is talking as if he were mad. See, when it is a present tense, we will, after as if, what will come? Where. He talks as if he were mad. Second example, you see, she is talking as if she were the queen. She is talking as if she were the queen. But in the past tense, instead of she talks, when we change the tense, he talked as if he had been mad. He had been mad. When the tense changed, where became had been. Okay, it is an important exercise or a point that you keep it in mind. There will be questions from the from this point. Okay, don't be confused with the present tense and the past tense. When in the present tense we will use where after as if, and in the past tense after as if we have to use had been. Okay, that is what is. In the past tense, he talked as if he had been mad. She was talking. Okay, past continues. She was talking as if she had been the queen. I hope you got the difference between. Now, the third one is third one in this screen. When make is used as a causative verb, it in active voice it is not followed by to. Okay, you know that make the horse drink water. We never use make the horse to drink. That is wrong. To drink is not needed. Make the horse drink water is enough. I made him do this work. I made him to do. That is not needed. That is what it is said here. I made him do this work, like get the things done. Okay, in the same way here after made we need not to use to or make to, no need. The last point, the verb enjoy always needs an object after it. Did you enjoy the show very much? We enjoyed ourselves a lot at Shimla. After the verb enjoy, we need an object to complete the sense of the sentence. Okay, the second last point is verbs tell and ask must be followed by the object. Okay, like in the previous one. He asked me what I wanted from him. She told me all that happened. Okay, the verb tell and ask take a object also. That is what is. And the last point, verbs like describe, discuss, order, request never take any preposition after them. Okay, the verbs like describe, discuss, order and request, they don't take a preposition after them. See, four examples are given. First one, describe the causes of World War First. We discussed the matter at length. The master ordered the servant to leave the room. He requested me for a loan. Okay, in all these things you can see that there is no preposition used after these verbs given. Today we can just go through one more chapter, chapter 27, comprehension. You all are very familiar with this comprehension, since we get every year in every exam one question to comprehend. To comprehend means to understand. Thus, a comprehension exercise tests the student's power of understanding English. There are some techniques to follow when you get the passages to comprehend. Read the passage carefully. Read the questions and then read the passage again. This will ensure your complete understanding of the passage. In the beginning of the exam, you will be getting 15 minutes for reading the question paper. After reading all the questions once, you can even read this passage 2-3 times and understand it in a proper way. After reading once, answer the questions briefly and precisely. Do not answer in the language of the passage. Answer in your own language. As far as possible, you answer the questions in your own language after reading and understanding the passage. Some students have got the tendency to just copy the paragraphs as it is. Okay, if you copy paragraphs like paragraphs of as answers, you may not get the mark properly. So understand the passage and write it in your own sentence. And the next thing you keep it in mind, it is of 15 marks, and everybody can score easily out of 15, maybe around 14 or 15 very easily. So to improve your capacity of understanding the passages, especially unseen passages you will be getting, you will have to read more. Read the newspaper, magazines, stories, listen to the listen to the news. Okay, then you will be able to understand the passages maybe in the first reading itself. Okay, so in the exam you will be getting some unseen passages to comprehend. So practice it by your own, by reading different books, passages and on. Thank you.